Garni was founded in 2166 BC. It has always been an interesting spot for archaeologists and travelers. In 1909, a pagan temple was unearthed here during excavations. It was here that 6,000-year-old apricot stones were discovered. This proves that apricot is endemic in Armenia and that our country is one of the ancient centers where apricot has originated. Today, wild sorts of apricot can be found in Armenia. These sorts are called kharji, although they do not have the same qualities as the cultivated ones, but their seeds are very good for multiplication. Armenians have begun domesticating wild apricot since ancient times. The legend tells that after the deluge, an apricot seed fell out of Noah's Ark and blossomed on the slope of the Mount Ararat. Then it spread throughout Ararat Valley. The first reference about Armenian apricot is found in Xenophon's works. The climatic condition and geographical position were beneficial for this fruit. The earthly paradise was said to be here. Old historians and their ancient maps indicate that 4 rivers set out from the country called Armenia. They flow north and south, east and west. The Holy Bible mentions that the paradise is situated near the sources of 4 rivers. And the only country which is situated at the sources of 4 rivers is Armenia. This exquisite apricot is known to the world as Armeniaca, as for the first time it was taken from Armenia in the 1st century BC by Alexander the Great and Lucullus. Apricot seemed very appealing to the 2 commanders, and they soothed the cruelty of the wars by sweetening their palates with its delicious fruit. They took it from Armenia to their countries as war trophy or perhaps as a memory. Alexander the Great brought it to Greece and said, "I have brought Malus armeniaca, Armenian apple," whereas Lucullus took it to Rome being sure it was Prunus armeniacum, Armenian plum. The world was discovering this fruit. By the way, apricot has been known since more ancient times as Armanu and had always been associated with Armenia, but Armenians called it differently, tsiran. Old Armenians have described the most perfect phenomena in the nature using the word tsiran. The sky full of sunlight was called tsirani, a place where light and life are born. According to the ancient Armenians' understanding of universal creation, life did not start from chaos and darkness, but from the sea of Tsiran, which was a synonym for light. The sun is the symbol of perfection in the sky, and a king is the symbol of perfection on the earth. Therefore, Armenians have identified and compared their kings with celestial light. The color of apricot, Tirana Guin, is on the flag of the modern Republic of Armenia. In the course of time, Armenians named this wonderful fruit after the color that they worshipped and which they associated with the sun in the sky and the king on the earth. The adjective turned into a noun to name the perfection that has become source of inspiration for artists. Arshil Gorky, a prominent artist who had lost his homeland in West Armenia in Van in 1915 and had emigrated to the United States, always remembered his family's apricot orchard as a special episode in his childhood memories. One of his famous paintings is called "The Scent of Our Apricot Fields." He has managed to convey the taste, the scent, the color, and the sweetness of apricot through his picture. He has identified apricot with his lost homeland. He wrote in one of his letters, "Lately, my mind is captured with the scent of our apricots. Although I do not have them in my studio, but I smell them with my brain so tangibly as when I was climbing the trees in our orchard." Today, many farmers establish new orchards. Specialized nurseries make this possible. Little saplings from the nurseries become beautiful trees in the orchards. Their growth surely depends upon diligence and hard work of the farmer, but no tree is protected from the instability of the weather. The spring frosts are the greatest danger for the blossom trees. People have a special attitude towards the apricot tree. Once, there were many apricot trees in old Yerevan yards. Parents would warn their naughty sons not to break the branches of an apricot tree, otherwise they would be always rejected by girls. The apricot tree is not demanding. Its only requirement from nature is not to freeze it after it has blossomed. It feels well in the rocky soil of Armenia. It does not require much water, but it is very juicy. It is productive up to 80 years and bears delicious and beautiful fruits in late June and early July. From round to oval, from white to reddish yellow, which we call tiranaguin, weighing for 25 to 100 grams. More than 40 sorts of apricot grow at altitude from 600 to 1,800 meters. But search for more productive and profitable sorts is continuing. New sorts have been selected that produce in September, thus extending the growing season. Besides, search is being carried out to make the trees grow at higher elevations. The basin of the Lake Sevan is chosen, which is 2,000 meters above sea level. However, the appearance is not enough to judge about the fruit. Moreover, if we are talking about healthy food, there should be exquisite taste and a bunch of useful elements underneath the beautiful looks. The distinctiveness of Armenian apricot is in its taste, sweetness, and juiciness. It seems that the sun is hidden in the fruit, as if it is cooked with sun rays. You open it, and as an ancient legend, the Sea of Tiran opened up full of sunlight. Different sorts of apricot have a whole range of different tastes.